Welcome to my channel and happy Halloween. I always talk about hair and scientific conditioning. I always talk about you taking control of your damaged hair. Well, I do realize that health plays a big part on your hair, on how your hair health is, I should say. And when you had surgeries, delivered babies, just living a stressful lifestyle can cause your hair to have issues. So you could be struggling with damaged hair even though you're trying your best to wear your own hair. You would love to get along with it. You would love for it to do what you want it to do. And most of all, you would love it to be well. And that's where a lot of issues come in. Hair wellness is not taken for granted anymore. Hair wellness is very serious. And we often find many people, women, children, men, all of them are struggling with keeping their hair wellness. There's not that they don't like fake hair. It's not that they don't want to wear it. It's just that they're not a good candidate for it. So here again, where do you go then? Why are you at home sitting there crying because you would like to help your hair, but you literally have nowhere to find answers? You don't know where to start. You no longer trust product because you've tried product expensive and cheap and nothing has worked. Mainly because it needs you. You are the reason why your hair will be uh, taken to the next level of wellness. Understanding some basic things about how your hair lives and how to protect it from the environment is very important. Understanding product and how it has changed over the years and how you can utilize your product to its best ability. That way you know if it's working or not. At this point, hair companies give us what we want, but do we know what we want? Without being asked for the right conditioner, then we're never going to reach hair wellness, because it's not about just the right conditioner. It's about the the right conditioner to take care of the problem, but it's also understanding the problem and then being able to diagnose the problem. We really don't have that. And now that damage has gone to such a severe level, people are literally, men and women and children, are losing their hair and going bald. And they don't have to. You can achieve a stabilized wellness within your hair care system at home. If I can teach you what you need to know your hair better and how to keep it away from damage, your hair will show it. All you need to do is to learn how to condition better and to pick the better product. And it's not about us not having many good products out there. We have a lot of good products, but we are stabbing in the dark in which product fits you. So it's layers of damage, and peeling back those layers, understanding how you became damaged is the way you're going to get out of damage. So I'm glad to know that you're willing to put in the time. You wouldn't be listening to me if you weren't. So you must want to change your ways at home and to learn a better method on how to keep your hair away from damage. Being sick is, I want to just mention this. Being sick is another reason why conditioning needs to be looked at differently. Because once you've gone through surgeries and illnesses that you're not going to get rid of, you're just going to stabilize them and be as well as you can. So we need to help stabilize our hair to be as well as it can. And that way you can go through surgery and your hair is strong enough to go through it with you. A lot of times we lose out on the better part of our hair because we lack the knowledge on how to support our hair during strenuous times. I want to thank you for sending your email questions to ditahair911 at gmail.com. I really appreciate it. Your hair questions are welcomed and and needed to keep the channel going. The big question is when two or more questions come in asking the same question. Today's big question is, why is my hair not feeling damaged, but still will not grow long? A good question, because if you don't gain length, then you tend to wonder if your hair is stable or if it's healthy. And so we always associate length with hair wellness. And so if you're not gaining the length, I think that you didn't tell me what other hair problems you are having, but it sounds like you're having very few. So gaining length, either you don't see the damage and your breakage is faster than your growth rate, or your stimulation is I'm tongue tied, stimulation stimulation to the scalp. So massaging is important. You need to massage on a routine base, and then make sure that massager can go on your head, because a lot of these massagers are so strong now that some of them even say in the directions, do not use on your head. If you do get stuck with the big massager, remember you can place it on your chest with a towel, and you can fold the towel double and apply it on your head and bend the massager. So just take precautions around your neck and ears. You have a lot of glands around your eyes. You have very sensitive areas. So you do not want to just, beat your head to death, but you do want to slowly relax your head. We do have a lot of muscles in our face and our neck, and a lot of tension from looking at computers, driving. So sinus issues, there's all sorts of things. If you wear glasses, if you're working with fluorescent lighting, puts a lot of stress. That can definitely cause breakage and your hair not to grow. So you want to stimulate with massaging. You want to eat well, because eating does help. Eating and drinking lots of water. You can look up the things that are the vitamins, or the foods that are good for your hair. That's kind of easy to do. Another thing you can do is, I found in my research, is to relieve scalp. Sometimes it's just putting a heating pad on your neck, your shoulders, or maybe it's your foot. Whatever is ailing you at the end of the day that just didn't go through the whole day with you, you need to relax that. And so that way you get the scalp to relax and stimulate the growth rate. Remember, scientific brushing is when you have two bristle brushes and you brush all around your hairline, and you brush all around the back of your hairline. So all around this is almost her little hairline. It's a bang, but its hairline is anywhere from the beginning to 2 inches into the hairline. So that's your hairline. So you want to brush forward, backwards, all the way around. Okay? And then you put a little conditioner on the ends, and you brush the hair forward, backwards, side to side. So your stimulating brushing will be done twice a day. This is great for growth rate. So if you're not seeing the length and you feel like it is your actual growth rate, then you want to start with stimulating the scalp and massaging softly and brushing more often. If you feel as if it's conditioning and that your ends are breaking faster than your hair is growing, then you might want to take a chance on giving those conditioners a little bit more conditioning at the end of the day. Remember that scalp does not deliver nutrition to the hair that's anywhere 3 inches away from the scalp. So everything else has to be delivered by you. And if you're using a heat cap, it will help stabilize the inside of your hair. Remember, we talked about the insulated heat cap is to get inside your hair. We need to condition or stabilize the hair from inside out. And a lot of conditioners are applied outside. And we have 10 to 15 layers of cuticle in one hair strand. So, it's like trying to get through a straw. So you need to soften that straw by heating it up and letting us into the middle of the hair shaft. So if you think about that, then you think about the fact that I wish we could get all the conditioners in at once, but you can't. So you need to condition on a weekly basis so you can build your moisture and protein level up. So I want you to use a deep conditioning insulated heat cap. I want you to do it once a week until you see growth rate improve. And then you can go to 2 times, 3 times. Then you can go to every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, and then once a month. But let's make sure your growth rate has returned by literally watching your growth rate and doing the stimulation, the brushing, and then of course the conditioning on the ends. You didn't tell me if you're on medication or anything, so if you need to email me again, you are definitely welcome. So the big question, I also put a note down here. Um, uh, People generally do not condition on a routine base. And so therefore the breakage on the ends is so small you don't really notice it, but you just notice there's no length. So you feel like, hey, it's not breaking, so why isn't it doing better? So let's consider that. Staying on task with your conditioning. Sometimes people condition this week and then next week they won't, and the following week they will, and then they don't do their mini conditioners every night, which is rubbing your ends with the conditioning. When this happens, what it lacks, and so you don't build your moisture up, so it doesn't really work. So you do need to remember that one conditioner is not going to be enough to stabilize any breakage. So you want to make sure you keep it on a regular basis, even if you have to keep a calendar, and then go from there and evaluate at the end of the month whether or not your hair felt different or you can see a difference with your hair. The first email question to detailhair911@gmail.com is when I've had braids for months. I took my braids out and my hair began to break. Why? Well, unfortunately, braids do not allow us to stimulate our scalp with brushing. It doesn't allow us to monitor your hair with for heat capping and conditioning. So therefore, you might go without stabilizing, and you won't know it because you're in the braids. So when you come out of the braids and try to manipulate, the hair isn't that strong. There also is a physical issue with the braids that are damaging. So just the material itself is very hard on the hair. So we can talk about that if you need me to, but this is why your hair broke afterwards, because there was no way you could stabilize your damage or your dryness, and there's no way you could stimulate your scalp. So all these things help maintain. You also couldn't protect it from the sun. Because a lot of times when we wear the braids and so forth, they're very pretty and you want to show them off. So very seldom do we wear a, SPF sunproof hat. So it would be good if you did, but I'm not sure it would be very effective because of the mixing of the braids with the actual hair strand. So this is why the lack of conditioning, and then of course the lack of how can I put it? Monitoring. You can't monitor your hair. So with all that going on, there's no way you can make your hair strong enough to go through the blow drying and the iron curling. The hair has to be really strong for that. Hair is supposed to be strong enough to support your weight if they hung you by your hair. So here again, without the conditioning on board, though, there's no way that it would be strong enough. Many stylists tell me that their clients have lost hair after the braids. They don't support that. They don't support that the hair. They don't support that that the braids help your hair grow, or that the hair is healthy when it comes out of braids. So just about any stylist will tell you, no, you're going to have breakage. That's like dreadlocks. You got to cut them off. You're not going to be able to establish the hair without cutting them off. You just have to regrow the hair. It's definite. Second email question. I have a natural curl for years. I have not seen it. Do I still have that? Do I still have a natural curl? Oh, yes, you do. Most likely you do. So what you want to do is moisturize. Remember, when the hair gets dehydrated, it gets slimmer. So it's hard to get the moisture in there. So you're going to need to moisturize every week with deep conditioning, insulated heat cap. Use your moisturizer and your rebuilder, and then start with once your curl return, then use your moisturizer. And what will happen is that it should return your curl. Unless you have a coating on your hair for some reason, if you've been on medication. You didn't give me many details about this, so I'm thinking that your hair doesn't have a chemical on it, or it doesn't have buildup of product. What you're noticing is that you feel clean cuticle, or your hair feels squeaky clean. However, you still have the issue of no curl. So something could be on your hair that's weighing it down where it won't let it curl. Okay, but if you don't think that's the problem, then of course you're looking at your moisture level. And then once you become so dehydrated, you can't always hold moisture. So you need to make sure you do your insulated heat cap, put the moisture inside the hair shaft, not on the outside. And if you're not delivering, if your product isn't delivering much moisture, then you won't see a change after a month. So you probably need to change products. But moisture loss is the reason why you're probably not seeing damage, sun damage. Those are the reasons why you're not seeing your curl when you actually have one. So get the moisturizing and on a regular base, and let me know how you're doing. The third email question. Ever since I've started chemical services, my hair has been damaged. Yes, what the problem with that was we had stylists not really, perms were popular. They were um, easy to do because people had a certain amount of strength in their hair. So you come in and say, oh, hey, I'm going to give this person a beautiful perm. However, when they took the perm home, they didn't properly support the perm. So for instance, it's at fault for both of you, your stylist and yourself. A lot of times people don't return for their chemical retouch, and that creates a stressful issue. But the stylists weren't conditioning before, during, and after the perm, so that didn't help. And then, of course, you took the perm home and didn't support it with proper conditioning. So it was bound to fail. It's not that chemical services are bad as much as it is, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So if you're not supporting your chemical at home with proper conditioning, proper moisture, proper mini conditionings, then of course your perm will get depleted just from being outside in the sun. So once it's lost moisture, and all perms take away moisture, you have to rebuild that moisture back. So don't think the main culprit was the perm. The main problem was that enough conditioning wasn't being done on both sides. So therefore, the lack of communication. For instance, they gave you a curl activator, but it wasn't real moisture. So therefore, you used it, and it was greasy, and that interrupted your natural oils, which started your scalp into a problem. So see how you just start this domino effect? So it wasn't so much that the chemicals were so bad. It was that we improperly treated them bad. Not coming back for our retouches on time, using styling products that weren't conditioning products. For instance, you don't need a curl activator if you're using a moisturizer. You don't need a sheen if you already have moisture. So we need to stabilize these perms from the inside out, conditioning inside and not just on the outside. So the perm, it goes inside the hair shaft and changes it. That's what gives you that different look or that different curl pattern. However, if you don't go inside and establish moisture and rebuild protein, then you've done one, but you didn't do the other, so you never put back what you took out. So it's like a bank. You didn't deposit anything, and you didn't get anything out of it because you didn't deposit. So to answer the question is, no, don't be scared of your chemicals. Just realize that proper conditioning before, during, and after your chemicals is the best bet. If you are recovering from a bad chemical, then let's just get you to recover and not go into another chemical until you can find someone who will condition before, during, and after the chemical. And then, of course, you have to take in your consideration of your health and stabilize your health as well. And then your hair wellness health can be stabilized. Today in Hair Facts, I love talking about Hair Facts because Hair Facts gives you something to put in your hair folder. Every time I post, I give you a Hair Fact. And that way, you can start doing something about your damaged hair. Well, one of the things I always talk about is the insulated heat caps. So today I'm kind of going to go over the steps for a great heat cap. I can, if you email me or leave in the comments, I can always send these to you. But let's start here for hair facts. So maybe you can write them down. Number one, I want you to rinse with warm water, warm to hot water. Just rinse for a few seconds. I want you to slowly shampoo, rubbing the shampoo in, and then, of course, rinsing it, rubbing the shampoo in and rubbing and manipulating the shampoo, and then let it set for a few, just a few seconds. You don't have to wash too fast. Often people just go through the shampoo so fast that they use a lot of shampoo more than they do take time. So not so much a lot of shampoo, just more time to shampoo. I want you to repeat that. Same, you want to apply the shampoo a little less because the hair is wet. So now you're going to manipulate and rinse the hair. Manipulate and rub the hair, or manipulate the hair. I don't want you to rub. I want you to be soft with it. And then, of course, don't go too fast. Rinse well. This time with cool to warm water, warm to cool water. I want you to apply your towel and towel blot again to a dry damp. Then you're going to apply your conditioner. And I want you to apply it heavy. I want you to make sure you pick a separate application for the hairline. So you're going to apply it, but then you're going to go all around your hairline. And then you're going to put on a clear plastic cap. That clear plastic cap is there so your products won't leave or dry up too fast while you're underneath the heat cap. You want to apply your conditioner heavy because it will sink into your hair. Your hair will literally absorb it, because remember, we're getting inside the hair shaft and not on the outside, where you have 10 to 15 layers of cuticle. So I think I've heard 17, so 10 to 17 layers. But anyway, so you want to manipulate the conditioners in, rub them in, and then if you have long hair, I want you to put it in a ponytail and put it in a bun. If you have long hair, then just a long, ponytail. And then if it's real long, then you have to put it in a bun. But anyway, so your head is in the insulated, it's in a thin plastic cap. Then you put your insulated heat cap on. Now, heat caps are great. They can come very cheap, as cheap as $15. I don't suggest them to be that cheap because they just tend to tear up really quick. You barely get a months out of them. So about $25 for a nice heat cap. And then see if you like, because you're going to put this in your routine. So if you like the routine and you see results and you see things change, then you can go for the more expensive one, which is $40 to $50. Those last longer and a little bit easier to apply. So now you've got your insulated cap on. If your hair is if your hair is short, then you're going to go anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. If your hair is long, then of course anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. So yeah, I was going to say 45 minutes, but it might take an hour. I have clients, I've known clients. I don't have any clients right now. I don't work, but the clients I used to have, some of the young girls had hair down to their butt. So that hair, you might want to do a little bit more of wrapping it in a bun and then checking the heat to make sure the heat has gone through thoroughly. And that might take you up to an hour. After you remove the insulated cap, when your heat cap is done, you also want to check your heat cap and make sure that the product is still creamy and soft underneath the heat cap. If it's watery, then you need to apply more product without rinsing and get back underneath the heat cap for the remainder of the time. So now your heat cap is over. You're taking your heat cap off, and you're going to leave the thin plastic cap on, and you're going to let your hair cool. You can either let it cool, walk around the house and do your laundry, and then rinse later, because the hair will just absorb the conditioners. Hair is like a sponge, so it's just going to absorb into the conditioners. You can go to sleep with the product on, or you can rinse it out and put a little bit of your product back in. Do not rinse. Okay, and then of course it's probably your moisturizer that you put back in. I don't like to leave rebuilders in your hair overnight, as long as they're with the heat cap, because after the heat cap is done, then the rebuilder is a lot weaker. So to leave it on after the heat cap is not an issue, but just to put rebuilder in your hair and leave it, it might tend to make it a little brittle. So you want to just put your moisturizer on after your heat cap, and then you want to rinse and style. You rinse, put your conditioner on, and it's not so much on the scalp, but throughout the ends. Remember, the hair receives nutrition 3 inches. It doesn't receive nutrition 3 inches after. So any new growth that's 3 inches long is still receiving nutrition from the scalp. Any anything after that, any length after that is dependent on you to put the conditioners in. It no longer receives nutrition from the scalp. It is a dead appendage. So it's like your nails, and you might want to condition them. So you rub it in, you leave it in, or you rinse it out and go to bed, and you leave a little bit of your moisturizer in. And then, of course, you style, and you're ready for the next day to style and perform your best look of the day. So that's how you heat cap. Okay, I hope I've slowed down enough. Let me know if you need that instructions again. Hopefully I was clear enough. I try to stick to script so that we know what I'm delivering and what I'm offering you as far as education, so I can stay consistent. I want to thank you for staying. I hope you've learned something today. If you have, please push that like button. I really would appreciate it. If you'd like to subscribe, it is free, and I would appreciate it if you push the notification button so that you will get my post when I post. I think I said that right. Um, I also try to post on Fridays. Here again, if your notification bell is on, you'll know when I post. I try to post every Friday, though. I want to thank you for helping me have this channel. You talk to me all the time with your emails and your phone calls, and you definitely keep this channel going by giving me the questions and the feedback. So thank you so much. I hope that I've helped you have a better hair day. I hope I've given you more faith in conditioning, and I definitely hope that your conditioning is embettered by understanding this information a little bit more about how to condition your hair and be successful at it. Understanding how your hair lives is really important, and I want to thank you for taking out the time today to learn that. I really appreciate you. Now, go have a better hair day. Thank you.